first two kids here in the end, right?
What?
The acknowledgement is first, then the introduction is late.
The Gingerbread Man Branding Company, Wheeling for Less, and the Henley Insurance Company. Now, let's go on to CH Field for the Hilton Garden Inn for tonight's edition of Hot Talk with IUP head coach Paul Borrella. Here's Jack Benedict.
And good evening, everybody. Here we are. Yep, Hawk Talk. Jack Benedict along with Coach Paul Tortorella. We have a special guest for an IUP football player coming along. I think he plays quarterback. And we have some special guests here in the audience today. The Homer City Bears are here, undefeated team, 7-0. We're going to hear from them later on. They're in our audience. They may have some questions for us. And they've had a terrific season, won a championship over the weekend. And you can't get better than that. And it's got to start somewhere, right, Coach?
Absolutely.
How about your days back when you remember?
Oh, yeah. I remember my days back at St. Pius X back in Brookline, PA. I think it's great for that age group to learn the game and the fundamentals and the techniques more so than the actual schemes and so forth of football. And I'm sure they're getting the proper coaching, safety measures for tackling and, growing up, in the neighborhood I grew up in, I mean, kids were always starting 6th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade playing, and, I think it's great. And then kids will understand later on if that's really for them. Mm-hmm. That's the best thing about when they're playing at a young age. If they really love it and are having some success, they'll stick with it. And if they're not, they'll maybe find another sport. So
sure,
it gives them a head start.
Some youngsters grow for some sports.
Absolutely.
Others grow for other sports.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You'd be, the old Michael Jordan story. He didn't even make his high school basketball team when he was a sophomore, and he played on the JV. And the guy's probably the best basketball player to ever play. So you never know.
As good as any, that's for sure. Head coach, by the way, of the Bears is Matt Mookie Wilson, and Coach Rich Turk with us here tonight, too. So we're going to get to these guys a little bit later. We're going to talk some football. It's called Hawk Talk, of course. 58-21, Coach, the win over Clarion on Saturday. And the way it started was just unreal. I had my note here, with the punt that you guys had, that Dylan Grubbs. And for some reason, he tried to field it inside the 5-yard line. And then Irv Charles, what a hit he put on that guy. And Clarion gets the ball right there at the 1-yard line. That's quite a start.
Well, they made a mistake, fielding the ball that close to the goal line, obviously, and Irvin made the hit. That play alone ends up leading to our first 9 points, a safety, and then we got the punt after the safety and ran it back to their 40-yard line and, went in after that. So that play alone, the punt, really was a 9-point play for us.
And it set up, as you said, a couple of touchdowns by DeJure Stewart. He took it in from short yardage out. The first touchdown by Clarion was a deflection on a pass, and it goes 52 yards, one of those deals. Explain that, because the defender was Randy Washington. He was there.
Well, we had a blitz on, and they threw quick, and the ball went through Randy's hands and went to the receiver that Streeter was covering. It wasn't even for that receiver. It was for the guy that Randy was covering. It went through his hands, went to the other receiver's hands, and then we had Streeter and Jaheim Howard kind of tackle each other. They both went for the tackle and knocked each other off the tackle. The unfortunate thing, I mean, if you could say, hey, we're going to have 3 guys at the point of attack where the ball's thrown, if Washington wouldn't have played the ball and just didn't ever, he really shouldn't have saw the ball thrown in man coverage, to be honest with you. It would have just been an incomplete pass because it was intended for the other receiver, not for the guy that ended up catching the deflection.
Yeah, who was Terrell Ford, and then he goes 52 yards. But by that time, it was, already 16-7. Your team got great special teams play on Saturday. I mean, all the way around, it was just terrific.
Yeah, and it's been like that all year. Every Saturday we've really played well in the kicking game. We had a 60-yard punt return. We had a kickoff return that we took to the 49-yard line. It was a 48-yard return, I believe. We had 3 punts downed inside the 10 with our punt team and our coverage. We made all of our extra points, and our kickoff team, they started. They started, I think, one time outside the 30. On the 31, we were kicking into the wind, and they had a 25-yard return. Other than that, they were backed up inside their own 25 every time on kickoff return. So that gave our defense a lot of field position, defensively to cover a whole field.
Sure. We're going to talk more Hawk Talk here with IUP's victory, putting them at 4-1. Clarion remains winless. The game coming up, Slippery Rock, that'll be on Saturday. We'll get to that a little bit later. We have guests. We have our youngsters here, the football team. The Homer City Bears are here. They're undefeated, and they're going to remain that way. They were champions over the weekend. So we'll be back with more. We're coming to you live from the C.H. Fields Craft Kitchen here at the Hilton Garden Inn. Be back right after we take this time out.
I'm with the voice of the IUP Crimson Hawks, Jack Benedict. And Jack, finally, you will be back in the booth broadcasting the Hawks. How good does that feel?
Oh, Mark, I'll tell you what, I can't wait. It is about time that I get back there.
And we'd like to invite your business to join our Hawks Booster Club.
That's right, back the best, the IUP Crimson Hawks, and help us sponsor the games for thousands of listeners on air and online. Check out the Crimson Hawks Sports Booster Plan, which is attached.
The Co-op store has the largest selection of IUP gifts and apparel. The Co-op is always there with its convenient location and hours. The Co-op store has been serving IUP and the Indiana community since 1933, and all profits are returned to the students through campus programs and activities. The Co-op has all your campus needs from the dorm to the classroom. Visit us online at www.iupstore.com.
Kenley Insurance is a family-owned and operated insurance broker located in downtown Indiana at 689 Philadelphia Street.
Hi, my name is Nicole Kenley, a licensed insurance agent with 15 years of experience in the industry. We offer many solutions such as home, auto, renters, life, flood, and many more specialty products.
Hi, my name is Sam Kenley. We are a partner with over 30 A-rated companies such as Progressive, Travelers, Allstate, MetLife, and Nationwide, just to name a few.
Please call 724-216-0972 for your free insurance review.
This is the voice of the IUP Crimson Hawks, Jack Benedict, inviting you to follow the Hawks home and away on U92.5 FM and at U92radio.com. Start your Saturday game day with another Indiana County tradition, the Luther Ford High School Coaches Corner Show, every Saturday morning on WDAD AM 1450, 100.3 FM, and on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Since 1969, Luther Ford's High School Coaches Corner.
Jack Benedict with Coach Paul Tortorella. We have Harry Woodbury coming up in just a little while, quarterback. And we've got the Homer City Bears football team here. We'll be talking with them in the next half hour. We just talked about special teams and things of that sort. We'll get back to that. We do have a question here from Ron, who's in attendance here, and Coach wants to know that teams seem to be attacking the middle of the field with their passing game. Is this a concern for you?
Well, it usually what happens is if we have a center fielder, middle of field closed, so to speak, in the terms of having somebody in center field, they usually don't attack it. But if we're in a coverage where center field is open, that's usually when teams will try to throw the ball down the middle of the field. It happened a couple times Saturday. The one, we had two guys there, and their guy jumped up and caught the ball in between two of our guys there near the end of the game down in the red zone. One time earlier in the game, they had a guy down the middle of the field who got behind our deep middle player, but it got overthrown because we had a pretty good pass rush, and we did a good job collisioning the receivers that were going vertical, so it kind of threw the timing off. But the concern is when you know that you're in a defense where you're not technically having a guy in the deep middle of the field, that's when you've got to be more concerned about them throwing the ball down the middle of the field, because a lot of their reads go off if they see center field closed because you got a guy in center field, they won't throw the ball down the middle of the field. But if it's open because of the different coverages that you're playing, that's when they'll usually attack the middle of the field.
We go back to the fact that you hate to say just youth, but you do have a lot of youth and, first-year players back in that secondary. It takes a while to get the chemistry together, doesn't it?
Well, usually the guy for our defense, the guys that are in center field, they're both freshmen.
Yeah.
So they're getting better. We thought we could have had an interception the other day down there in the red zone, but their guy went up and got the ball when we had two guys right there. So 2 or 3 touchdowns. One, we had 3 guys there, and the other one we had 2. And then the other touchdown they ended up getting, we had an interception, but we lined up offsides, which was a dumb thing. So we had a chance to, maybe prevent all 3 of those scores.
Mm-hmm. We talked a little bit earlier about special teams. They had the long kickoff return by Malik Anderson, the 62-yard punt return to Dwayne Brown. And what's interesting is at the end of those sequences, the guy that started the series ended up with a touchdown, both Anderson and Brown. I know it's a coincidental, but I don't know if you worked that out that way.
No, because we've got a pretty good stable of running backs that we roll in there, depending on what series, et cetera, and we also subbed our wideouts. We're really rolling 5 wideouts for 3 positions. So, that kind of was just a coincidence, really.
Yeah, it was a nice coincidence.
Yeah, sure. Anytime you score, it doesn't matter who scores it.
No, it doesn't. We do have a replay here. We have a couple of them for you tonight. One of them, Dwayne Brown, by the way, with 212 all-purpose yards, is the PSAC Special Teams Player of the Week. He had another sensational game. And we have Dwayne's punt return, 62 yards. He almost took it the whole way. So, John, you want to roll that on the punt coming up here? And the return by Dwayne. He goes back to his right. Now this is running at 75%, by the way, so he doesn't, he's not slow, believe me. Comes up the side. Looks like when he gets some help here, he might take it once he makes the cut here and go all the way, but they cut him from behind.
Well,
we jammed up on that sideline.
We had given him heck about the punt before he let bounce, and he really listened to us because he let it bounce again. And picked it up and ran for 60 yards, but you don't really want to do that a lot. Like twice he picked up the ball off the bounce. We really don't coach at. We're expecting you to catch the ball on the fly, and he just kind of hesitated on both of them. Why he didn't catch it on the fly, we were a little surprised, but you don't really want to tell guys to pick balls up like they're a shortstop. That's kind of dangerous, but he's like one of those kind of players that you say don't do that, and then they do it, and then they go for 60 yards, and I guess it's okay when they do that. But you don't really want to do that. The chance of fumbling, and it's not the preferred way to do it, and sometimes Dwayne does those things, I guess.
He makes it exciting. Yeah, footballs don't bounce the same way baseballs do.
Exactly.
Here's another question for you, Coach. Is there one player who has been a pleasant surprise to you?
The one guy on offense would probably be Hilton Ridley. I mean, there's a couple different guys, but he's the one that stands out offensively. When Dwayne was hurt, he came in and did a really good job, and then he's been our 4th wideout and has played very well as a freshman. Defensively, I think that Darius Bruce probably, because he's a true freshman, has come in and done a really good job at the starter position. He's a talent, can run. He's got, good body type, has long arms, but he's played like a veteran at times when he's really a true freshman. Now, his coach, Dante Green, who used to play for us, is taking credit for that at Westinghouse, but he was pretty well coached when he got here.
Mm-hmm. Well, he got banged up a little bit, but then came back.
Right.
You think he's going to be all right?
Yeah, he'll be okay.
Okay, that's good. A couple of highlights that I'll just touch upon in one by one, like in bullet form. You can, for one, it was good to see that Daquan Green got into the action, as many did, managed to catch a pass. For fans who don't know, he's a young guy who came in late. was at University of Florida with the Gators for, what, I think 6 games, and then transferred over to Murray State. You were able to get him here, and it's been a slow process because he got here late. Is he coming around to where you can see that talent?
Absolutely. And he showed it, obviously, on that play. He ran that ball down. It was a great throw by Javon. But at first, when Javon threw it, I thought he overthrew him. But he put it in high gear and ran it down. He's a talent. He's got a good body. He's not playing as much because we've got, Brown, Carter, and Charles out there. But both he and Ridley are really good players that probably would be playing a lot more for some other teams. But they'll be here next year, and Ridley will be here for 2 more years after next year. So DeQuan actually has 2 years eligibility, so he's got a bright future. I mean, he did line up and play in the Swamp a couple times when he was a freshman, and I believe he scored a touchdown down at Georgia when he was at Austin P. Or Murray State.
Murray State, he did, yes.
Yeah, he scored a touchdown down at Georgia. So he's played in big environments, and it's just he got here late. He missed 2 weeks of the season where he was out. So he's just kind of rounding into form, but you can see it. There's a lot of talent there.
Some IUP fan brought it to my attention this past week. I'd not given a thought earlier. Does Irv Charles have another year or not?
No.
I mean, you can only get so much, right?
Unfortunately, no. If we could figure out a way to get that done, I'd be all for it. But no, this is it for him.
Yeah, and fortunately, he hung around here all this time.
Absolutely.
And he's showing his worth because he's done some terrific. I think we are, coaches probably are, didn't underestimate him as a special teams player.
Well, that's what his niche was at Penn State. He was a really good he played wide out, scored, I guess, a game against Minnesota when he was at Penn State. And but he was their gunner on their punt team, and he was on their kickoff coverage team. And the guys at Penn State told us this guy's like a great special teams player. He's big, he can run. As our gunner, he hasn't been blocked yet, because that's hard to do anyway, is block a guy one-on-one all that time when the ball's in the air for a punt. And he's made that. I think he's made 3 or 4 plays as our gunner on the punt team so far.
Let me bring up Nas Streeter, preseason All-American. Seems like he's coming around now, and he showed his worth the other day. He looked like the true All-American, had a lot of tackles, made plays, got himself an interception. How much do you have to rely on him, because he's the grandfather in that secondary?
Well, you've got the 2 corners that are seniors, and then the rest of the guys are all young freshmen. And he plays the hardest position on the field, boundary corner, because that's where teams attack a lot. That's an easy throw. So it's the toughest position on the field, is playing boundary corner. And then Saturday he had an interception, he had a pass breakup. I think he had 7 tackles. Played very well. He had been banged up a little. He hasn't missed any time in games, but the last 2 weeks he hasn't practiced a whole lot because he had a thigh injury. So he looks like he's 100% now.
Yeah, the indication the other day, no question about it. We continue to talk about special teams. Well, we had focused on the punter, young Mr. Grubbs, a while back. How about Tyler Luther? Extra points. He's only missed 1 this year. He was perfect the other day, and he's a freshman.
Well, yeah, we've only tried 2 field goals. He made both of them. It was in the Shepherd game, and we were down inside the 10-yard line. So, when we get the ball in the red zone plus 20 in, we want to score touchdowns. So we've done that. Our red zone offense, other than those 2 times at Shepherd, but we still got field goals out of it. We've scored every time we've been in the red zone, and only 2 times did we not score touchdowns. So our red zone offense has been really, really good. But he's made, we have no doubt, and we have a lot of confidence if we got to try a 42-yard field goal. In practice, we charted, he's like 92% on field goals from all over, 30 yards, 20 yards, 40 yards, different hashes, goal post, off the post, and, bad angles. We do it all. We just haven't had to kick field goals, which is a good thing when we get in the red zone.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to the other end of it. Your long snapper, true freshman, Ryan Legere.
Yep.
I mean, you're putting them right in the fire right away.
Well, he was really good coming out of high school, and he actually was going to go to Coastal Carolina, and they brought their guy back from a COVID year. The guy decided to come back, so he was looking for a place, and we were looking for a long snapper when Stout was ruled out for the year. So we were fortunate enough to be able to recruit him. He's a true freshman, mm-hmm. and knock on wood, he's been great on every snap, both punting and short snapping for field goals and extra points.
We kind of dwell on statistics, whether it be correct or incorrect, whatever. But 500 total yards, you got your offense together, and the ground game started to go.
Right.
That was a big, big plus for you on Saturday.
Yeah, we had a couple of real good runs by Evans and Anderson, splash runs, as Mike Tomlin would call it. Anything over 12 yards is a big run for us. And we had 3 or 4 of those on Saturday. Stewart's more of a 5 to 10 yard guy, and if he breaks one, great, but he's more of a inside the tackle, get us 5 to 10 and pound the ball a little bit. He's hard to tackle, and he can wear on teams. But, Anderson and Evans are guys that we're hoping can get some big runs, and they did on Saturday. They had a couple really big breakout runs, which is what we're looking for.
Similar type runners, too.
Exactly.
And we had talked about, you did have the opportunity to get limited action for Adam Hauser.
Yeah.
Can you get him more this week, you think?
After the game, we were a little bit discouraged about the injury. It looked like he either re-injured it or it just didn't respond. Because when he went into the game, he was ready and he had full go and ran the ball 3 times, and it didn't feel good. But surprisingly, he came into the training room yesterday, and we thought he's going to come in and he's going to be out another week or 2. And it's that high ankle sprain; they're a nightmare. And but he came in Sunday, and he said he felt good, and he was out there today. So if you would ask me coming back from Clarion on Saturday, I would have thought it would be no go for him this week. But if you go off of today and what the trainer said when he came in yesterday, he looks like he'll be okay to play this Saturday.
Mm-hmm. That's good news. It gives you the depth that you want. Injuries from Saturday. What did that? Anything? And we're early in the week, I know.
Really, the only guy that may be out this Saturday is freshman defensive end Fazell. He got a shoulder. Missed the whole second half of the game. I think he's getting an X-ray tomorrow, or he might have had the X-ray today, and we'll know more about it tomorrow. He right now is the only guy that got banged up in the game that we might not have Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Well, that poses the question, would you be forced into maybe using the young guy from McKeesport in Glenn?
We have a couple different packages we can use where we can bump a linebacker up there to defensive end and help us in the pass game for pass rush. So we'll kind of just play it by ear as the week goes on, and also take a look at the freshman from McKeesport to see if he's really ready for prime time, so to speak.
Yeah, he has been at that particular position for very long,
right?
Just a few weeks. Here on Hawk Talk, I want to remind you, we're on U92.5. You can go to our website, u92radio.com, look for Hawk Talk, and you can check us on YouTube. If you have any questions or comments for either one of us, be sure to pass those along. We'll get those to you. We're going to hear from a quarterback. Harry Woodbury is going to be in here with us, and we've got the Homer City Bears here. They're going to talk with us later on Hawk Talk. They are an undefeated championship team. Can't go wrong there. So let me get into something that's those are all positives. Now, I'm not saying penalties are negatives,
right,
but double figures is not good when you come out of a game.
No, but an interesting statistic on penalties, and I'm go kind of crazy over it. We don't really like getting penalties. It's almost like some people act like I like that we get penalties. And we're trying to do the best we can, but I really will be concerned when we get a lot of penalties and it costs us a game. If you go back and research, when we do get a lot of penalties in games, we usually win the game by 4 or 5 touchdowns. It just happens that way, and the same thing happens to Slippery Rock, and the same thing happens to Cal. When you have a tendency to get up on people and get a big lead, the game gets officiated a lot different. And that's not an opinion. It's factual if you do your research, and, because I hear from a lot of different people that, we're undisciplined and we get a lot of penalties and this and that. We don't want to get penalties, but it seems to happen a lot in games where we're blowing teams out and the game gets officiated a little bit different.
Well, the teams you mentioned, Slippery Rock, Cal, IUP, have been top-notch for years and years. So they're good teams, very good teams. That means they're aggressive teams. They play hard. That would play a part in it. You don't want to be relaxed when you're playing certain. We lined up offsides and it cost us an interception. That's a terrible penalty. Right.
We jumped offsides a couple times. If we were getting great pass rush, you don't mind them jumping offside every now and then. But we're not getting great pass rush either. So in my talk with the team today, I said, look, some of the best defensive ends in football jump off sides, but they get a lot of sacks. So, it's not good to jump off sides if we're not sacking the quarterback. So I said we can't be jumping off sides because we're not. It's not like we're sacking the quarterback every series. We had a pass interference call that, no way. They called it on Lang. The ball was 10 yards over the guy's head. It actually had absolutely nothing to do with it. There was hardly any contact. The contact actually happened after the ball hit the ground. So, if people want to say I'm making excuses, that's fine. But I watched the film, and I know what's going on, okay? Now, we had 2 holding penalties by our wide receivers out on the perimeter on screens where you got to block guys longer. We can't grab guys. They were both holding. We grabbed the guy. We had 1 illegal procedure penalty. We don't want that. It's a pre-snap penalty that we don't want. We had a face mask penalty that was a bad penalty because our defender didn't make a good tackle. It was not a hard tackle, and he's reaching and grabbing a face mask. So it's not like, we're coaching that. We're not at all. So, we don't, that's the first thing we talk about every Sunday with the staff and every Monday with the team is we can't continue to be getting a lot of penalties, especially in high leverage situations against good teams. Now, in the past, we haven't been a big high penalty team in the big games. All right. It's been in games where we've beaten teams, by a pretty good margin, and it just is what it is. But if we think we're going to go beat a Slippery Rock or a Cal or a Kutztown or a Shepherd and get 100 yards in penalties, we're kidding ourselves. So you can't, you got to evaluate it, not just jump to conclusions, but you also got to be more disciplined and not get penalties no matter who you're playing.
All right, we're going to continue with Coach Paul Tortorella and have a lot more coming up. Here on Hawk Talk. Hope you'll stay with us here on U92.5 or on YouTube or wherever you may be watching or listening to our show tonight. And we'll be back after we take this time out on U92Radio.com.
Hey everyone, this is Ryan at Four Wheeling for Less, your local ATV and side-by-side dealership. We specialize in buying, selling, and servicing all major makes and models. In our sales department, we offer financing, warranties, and purchase appraisals. Our service department will keep you up and running for your next adventure. And our parts and accessories department can help you find whatever you're looking for. So whether you're looking to buy, sell, trade, or get service work done, visit our website, give us a call, or stop by today.
Hi, this is Zach, and welcome to Gingerbread Man Running Company, proudly located in the heart of Indiana on Philadelphia Street since 2009. We offer the top models from the best brands of running and walking shoes. Stop in today for your free gait analysis from our expertly trained staff. We are happy to help solve any foot or shoe issue you may have. Please visit our website for more information, Gingerbread Man Running, Catch us if you can.
The Co-op store has the largest selection of IUP gifts and apparel. The Co-op is always there with its convenient location and hours. The Co-op store has been serving IUP and the Indiana community since 1933, and all profits are returned to the students through campus programs and activities. The Co-op has all your campus needs from the dorm to the classroom. Visit us online at www.iupstore.com.
This is the voice of the IUP Crimson Hawks, Jack Benedict, inviting you to follow the Hawks home and away on U92.5 FM and at U92 Radio.
Jack Benedict with Coach Paul Tortorella, and we're here at CH Field's Craft Kitchen at the Hilton Garden Inn. The Homer City Bears, undefeated team here, 5th, 6th graders, 11, 12-year-old guys, 7-0. They're going to be with us just a little bit. And they have questions for the coach. In fact, they hit you with 3 of them. So handle it how you want to there, Coach.
Okay, here's the first one. What is your favorite moment as a football coach? Well, when you get into coaching and you're an assistant and a coordinator, you always want to be a head coach. Most coaches do, and it was probably the first game I was a head coach when we beat Ashland on a last-second field goal in 2017, and it was kind of like the good luck charm because we went on and won 13 in a row and we're 13-0 and then lost to West Florida, but it would be that game. Have you ever coached any players at IUP that went to the NFL? I personally didn't coach them. We had a couple offensive linemen, Chris Valerio and Leander Jordan, and John Jones was a tight end, but I didn't personally coach them, but they were here when I was an assistant here. And I had coached a couple other guys at other places that actually did play in the NFL at other places that I had coached.
At Akron, at Maryland?
At Akron and in Maryland, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then how many years have you been coaching football? Yeah, I'm going to start to feel real old. 37.
37. That's a lot of football, and a lot of great memories too, huh?
Sure.
Yeah, that first game against Ashland, what a way to start your head coaching career. That was some game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was probably one of the best games, not because I was the head coach, but in general, in all my years of coaching, it was a great game between 2 really good teams. It went down to the wire, and it was for a first game of the year. It was really well played by both teams. No turnovers, minimum penalties on both sides. Went back and forth. It was just a great football game.
Yeah, it was. That's I know it's on my list. That's for sure.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Really? That's great.
Absolutely. Let's see what else we can talk about here. We're going to have quarterback Harry Woodbury with us here in just a little bit. Let's see. Oh, yes, I know what I want to talk about. It's a team called Slippery Rock. And interestingly enough, Coach is a graduate of Slippery Rock. Back in the mid-'80s, I had to think a little bit. I thought, well, let's see, when you were at Slippery Rock and you were in, let's say, 1985 or whatever it was, who was the running back? So it must be Charlie Sanders, right?
He was later.
He was later?
When I was first, he was there at the very end. Ricky Porter came in when I came in.
Oh, yeah.
Or he was already there, I think, when I first came in. He was a really good running back then.
I remember him, yes.
And then Chuck was near the end of my time there. But, it was the Don All, Bob DeSpirito, and then Coach Mihalik had become the head coach, but I had already left there when he got the head coaching job. So there's still some people still around, but it's kind of like been so long ago that those people, at least, are still living. Like they're not really around as much.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we have another question here, and I know it left the screen for me, but I know how to tie it in because I should have thought of this, and I'm not sure who did, but it was Ben Schmidt, Homer Center, quarterback for 4 years. Great player,
right.
High school, great records, super young person, and maybe talk about him a little bit.
Absolutely.
He's at every practice I've been at and more.
Well, he's a guy that you bring into your program, and he's not going to be a quarterback for us. But we've had a lot of guys come in as quarterbacks, and we move them to different positions. And our main job really is we don't always go out and recruit the 20 best players for Division II football. They don't just come to IUP. They don't just fall off of trees. We got to develop our guys, and we do a pretty good job developing them, and he's a guy that we're probably going to move either to tight end on offense or to safety on defense. He'll redshirt this year, and we'll develop him, and he's smart. He's going to get a lot stronger when he gets in our off-season program. He's got the body type. I mean, he's plenty big enough, and he'll get bigger. And he'll be a guy that'll probably either end up being a tight end or a safety for us, to be honest with you. But we've had a lot of different guys that have come in at a certain. John Robinson was a defensive lineman. He came in, played defensive line for 1 year. We moved him to offensive line. He's a 3-year starter in the offensive line.
Yeah.
And quarterbacks always, bigger quarterbacks end up matriculating either to safety because they kind of know how to run the defense like they ran an offense, or if they're big enough, they go to tight end. That's kind of the normal progression for quarterbacks that come here. And, you know, the type of offense we run, Ben was a running quarterback that could throw the ball. Mm-hmm. We don't run that, you know, Lenny Williams isn't here, and we're not into that offense anymore. So he's a guy that we knew bringing in that we'd probably move him to either tight end or safety, and he's been working at it. He's been a tight end on the scout team, and we'll see what we do with him this spring.
Mm-hmm. I know I was thinking back over the years, and I'm not going to start mentioning names of players from Homer Center who came to IUP because I'll forget somebody.
And then they get mad at you, sure.
They get mad at me, but it's been pretty successful over the years, that's for sure. Saturday we have Slippery Rock, a little trip up there, past Butler up to the Rock. They are 6-0. They're in the top 10. They were favored to win the PSAC West. And here's a team that is, they're packed. There's no question about it. And the rivalry of IUP and Slippery Rock goes back a long time, doesn't it? And it's good. I think it's good for the conference when we see these rivalry games, IUP, Cal, Slippery Rock, whomever, and it's something that the players, even the young players, can they tell from the older players that, hey, listen, looks like it's going to be something special.
Yeah, I mean, you can, coach speak it all you want and tell them it's just another game and this, that, and the other, but the older players are telling the younger players, like, this is going to be a little different when we go into their stadium up there this Saturday, just like it is when they come down here to play us. And we've had some great games up there at that stadium. 4 years ago we went in there and we were down 10-0 and ended up, playing really well from that point on and had a big win in that 2017 season. And then in 2019, we got behind 31-7. They came out and really got after us in the first half. We got it to 31-14 at halftime, and we ended up losing by a field goal in a really game where we were fighting back almost the whole day. We don't really want to do that, obviously. I think the one thing that we've got to do in the last 2 times that we've played up there, we won one and lost one, we got to play better in the first quarter. We fell behind 10-0 in the game. We won in the first quarter, but then got up 17-10 at halftime. 2 years ago, we got behind. We stayed behind. We were, fighting back the whole game and could never get it. We got it to a 1-score game, and then we couldn't stop them. The quarterback Rivers made 2 unbelievable plays on 3rd and 4th down on their last drive when we had a chance to get off the field. We could never get the ball back just down 1 score. So if we scored, we could take the lead. We went in and scored and cut it to 3, but it was like 18 seconds or 10 seconds left, and we tried the onside kick, but we would only had 1 play anyway left. So, we were down 31-7.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason we didn't play very well in the first half. So, and they have something to do with that. I mean, it's, they're a really good team and got a lot of really good players and are well coached. And, it's the same thing this year. They've got a bunch of players back from the 2019 team. The only guy that's really not back is Rivers, the quarterback. But they got another quarterback that's got all kind of stats too.
Well, Tord, I was going to bring that up with Andrew Kester.
Right.
He He's out of West Allegheny, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have to give him a lot of credit. I mean, he was there.
Right.
He's a fifth-year guy.
Right.
So they bring a guy in who wins the Harlan Hill, but he doesn't leave. He stays. And he's having a tremendous year. Of course, it's also good when you're a quarterback when you have weapons too.
Right. I'm not sure, but when Rivers actually took over, he was their third quarterback, and Kester might have been one of the two that got hurt, and then Rivers took over. So it's kind of spun around and gone the other way now. Statistically, looking at what he's doing now, his stats are off the chart throwing. Now he isn't a run threat like Rivers. Rivers was a dual threat like Lenny.
Yeah.
And just caused major problems. Like his legs, hurt us just as much as his throwing did 2 years ago. So that's a whole different animal for the defense when you got to worry about the guy running and throwing at quarterback. It's not like the guy now can't run it, but they just don't do that. He can't run it like Rivers did, but they don't do it as much. It's a different deal. He's more of a drop-back quarterback, and Rivers could do that too. So that's what made Rivers so special. But this guy's, tearing it up. He's having an unbelievable year.
Yeah, he is. And for fans who are going to the game, they're going to see some of the best receivers, Slippery Rock, IUP, that in Division II. They've got to be as good as anybody in the country.
Well, when you look at Litwin, Wynn, and
Sweeting,
those three, and you look at Dwayne, Irvin, and Carter, they're pretty good. That's six pretty good receivers running around on a Division II football field.
Oh my, yeah. It should be a heck of an afternoon, and should be some great college football. Well, we're going to continue here in just a moment. We're going to have, I see the quarterback is here. I have a whole bunch of quarterbacks here, I think. I don't know, but Harry Woodbury's with us, and he's going to join us. Let's take a time out on Hawk Talk and be right back with you on U92.5, U92Radio.com.
Kenley Insurance is a family-owned and operated insurance broker located in downtown Indiana at 689 Philadelphia Street.
Hi, my name is Nicole Kenley, a licensed insurance agent with 15 years of experience in the industry. We offer many solutions such as home, auto, renters, life, flood, and many more specialty products.
Hi, my name is Sam Kenley. We are a partner with over 30 A-rated companies such as Progressive, Travelers, Allstate, MetLife, and Nationwide, just to name a few.
Please call 724-216-0972 for your free insurance review.
Hey everyone, this is Ryan at Four Wheeling for Less, your local ATV and side-by-side dealership. We specialize in buying, selling, and servicing all major makes and models. In our sales department, we offer financing, warranties, and purchase appraisals. Our service department will keep you up and running for your next adventure, and our parts and accessories department can help you find whatever you're looking for. So whether you're looking to buy, sell, trade, or get service work done, visit our website, or give us a call, or stop by today.
Hi, this is Zach, and welcome to Gingerbread Man Running Company, proudly located in the heart of Indiana on Philadelphia Street since 2009. We offer the top models from the best brands of running and walking shoes. Stop in today for your free gait analysis from our expertly trained staff. We are happy to help solve any foot or shoe issue you may have. Please visit our website for more information. Gingerbread Man Running. Catch us if you can.
This is the voice of the IUP Crimson Hawks, Jack Benedict, inviting you to follow the Hawks home and away.
Everybody, Hawk Talk, here live from the Hilton Garden Inn. Jack Benedict, Coach Paul Tortorella, quarterback Harry Woodbury. Good to have him with us. Harry, good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
on.
nice job the other day.
Thank
You're
you.
getting into the swing of things. Let me tell you a little bit about this guy. He's from Texas. It's a guy from Woodland, Texas. How do you find out about Indiana, PA, and IUP when you're in Texas?
The magic of Twitter, I guess. It's a very small world nowadays. You're just a message away from meeting somebody new, and I'm just glad I was able to find this place.
Yeah, for the fans that didn't know, now you at first when you came out of high school, you went to junior college,
I
right?
did, yes, correct.
Yeah, and then over to Eastern Illinois, and I guess with the free agency, so to speak, that we have with the transfer, you were aware of IUP though, weren't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. Actually, it was funny because when I was going through my recruiting process, when I went in the portal, I actually had One of my neighbors went to IUP in like the 80s, I think, and it was just funny. We were just talking about who I was talking to in the school, and he's like, "That's so weird. I graduated from there in like 1980, so it's a small world."
In Texas.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, right across the street. So
right, that's why I wear the gear when I'm out somewhere.
Sure,
because you always run into somebody.
Yep.
You've been in different systems, I'm sure. Then from high school into junior college, and then Eastern Illinois, and here at IUP. Is it are any of the systems similar, or is it tough to? For instance, was it tough to adapt here?
I mean, football is football at the end of the day, and the name of the game on offense is get the ball in playmakers' hands. Obviously, we have a lot of those here, so that part was easy. But I think Tate's and we're pretty like-minded. He's aggressive. I'm aggressive. We like to push the ball down the field, and we got the guys to do it. So it was a pretty smooth transition, I think.
You keep it going. Haven't thrown any interceptions, and the TD passes have come. One of them the other day. We don't have the Irv Charles because there was a big beak in that cut off where Irv made the catch in that corner. But your touchdown pass, and John, let's roll that one to Dwayne Brown. Of course, Dwayne had that punt return, and then here we go on the monitor with Dwayne. There he is. He got it to number 3. And when he turns the corner, he smells pay dirt, and he made it in. And there's the Golden Eagle. But it's got to be great for a quarterback to have Carter and Brown and Charles and company at your disposal.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's a pretty easy touchdown pass if you ask me. Take a step, throw it to a guy, and watch the rest happen. So,
were you blessed with as many receivers at other locations?
I've played with some really good talent. Starting from junior college on, there's always been some guys, but obviously there's just a lot of them here at the same time. So it's a lot of fun.
We have another replay. This is with Javon Davis,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, unfortunately, you couldn't play the first 2 games. Javon did a great job. We had him in here on our show. This was the bootleg and the touchdown run. I mean, the fake on here is beautiful, and the whole deal. There he is, and there you go, 22 yards, clear sailing, and he makes it in. I think it's, when you look at it from a standpoint as a quarterback, and coach looks at it, I love to have 2 quarterbacks like you guys because you're different.
Yeah, 100%.
So you're putting all kind of different pressure, right, on the defense?
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously Javon is a super competitive guy, and he's obviously very talented. So it's always great to see him out there on the field succeeding, and it's just a lot of fun to watch the offense move the ball.
If I were to scout you and I ask you what's the best thing you do, what would you say?
I think it's just giving guys chances, Some guys do it differently. Some guys are a little more reserved. I like to take chances, and when you see the guys I have outside, it's easy for me to pull the trigger, and when I get my opportunities, I pull the trigger. I think that's probably my biggest positive, is just giving those guys chances to make plays.
What sold you on this guy?
Well, first of all, his demeanor, everything about him, and that has nothing to do with football. It's like the second game of the year, we're playing Shepherd, and he's an emergency quarterback that's just been back for 1 day, and he was the best guy on the sideline, and he was the emergency quarterback. Javon was playing, but he was talking to the defense, he was talking to the offensive guys. Just that alone, his temperament and his character, were top-notch. And then the way he gets the ball out, he does not hold the ball very long. There's certain passes that are quick throws, and there's certain passes that are longer takes longer, but he's always getting the ball out in time. And he made a play Saturday. He does have really good feet. He's not a running quarterback, but he's got good feet in the pocket. The protection didn't really break down, but he needed to buy some time, and he hit Dwayne on an over route after he rolled to his left and got out of the pocket. He had to buy time, and the only way he could do that was to move to the left, and he did that because he's got really good feet. He's got a quick release, and he gets the ball out in time. I mean, we have 4, I think we've only given up 4 sacks all year. I think part of it is, we've got a really good offensive line, but this guy don't hold the ball very long. He gets the ball out, and he makes quick decisions.
When you look at IUP Slippery Rock coming up, you've never played in a game of IUP Slippery Rock, obviously, but I'm sure you've played in other big games along the way. Is your preparation any different?
No, I mean, what you want to do is have a good, solid routine every week. That way you feel the same. It's just another game. No matter who we're lining up against, it should be the same routine. That way you're kind of in rhythm and you're feeling comfortable going into the game. When you feel like you're in the same routine, same rhythm, it's just another game. Go out, do your job, execute, keep the guys going, and hopefully, come out with a dub.
Somebody mentioned to me this past week, it said, when I watch Harry play, he doesn't seem to be rattled at all. And do you have that demeanor? That's the feeling?
Yeah, I mean, it's something growing up. I think my parents talked to me a lot about just playing sports. I grew up playing soccer, which was like my first big sport, and it's a very emotional sport. And they would always talk to me about body language. Keep yourself up. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. Just keep your temperament, especially when you're trying to be a leader in any sport. It's important for guys to be able to look at you, whether you're down 30 or up 30, and you should look the exact same because it's important for them to feel like you're stable, they're stable, we're good to go. Let's ride.
Yeah, well, that pretty much says it all, right, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, he's that's why he's the quarterback. He's the quarterback on the field. It's some other positions can get a little riled up, so to speak, but that position can't. He's like, I joke around to the coaches. I go, he walks around like he's a professional golfer. He's just happy-go-lucky, very easy, gets along with everybody, doesn't get rattled, doesn't do jumping jacks out there when he hits a big touchdown pass, just congratulates the receiver and the lineman, and for a three-game series, 3 games he's been the quarterback. I mean, his statistics are pretty good. I mean,
I'd say
when you don't turn the ball over and you get the ball out and you don't take sacks, you're not having very many negative plays. Now, we've been behind the chains a little bit because of penalties. We haven't been behind because of negative plays or sacks or turnovers. Knock on wood, we've only turned the ball over. We've got to be leading the country. In 5 games, we've only turned the ball over once. Unless there's somebody out there who hasn't turned it over yet this year.
Yeah, that's unlikely. Well, finally, Harry, I know when I talked with you briefly on the post-game, the previous game, the game at home, you said your parents and you have people that are listening in Texas, right,
yes,
watching. It's amazing what can be done this day and age, but I just want to say it's nice to have IUP fans in Texas.
Absolutely. Well, they love you, man. They tell me every time. They said, you guys have a great announcer.
Oh, no, wait, I wasn't leading into that.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, keep it going, won't you? Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
we appreciate it a lot.
absolutely.
All right, that's Harry Woodbury. He'll be leading the Crimson Hawks this coming Saturday against Slippery Rock. And we're coming back with the guys who want to be like him, the Homer City Bears, right after we take a time out here at U92.5, U92Radio.com.
Hi, this is Zach, and welcome to Gingerbread Man Running Company, proudly located in the heart of Indiana on Philadelphia Street since 2009. We offer the top models from the best brands of running and walking shoes. Stop in today for your free gait analysis from our expertly trained staff. We are happy to help solve any foot or shoe issue you may have. Please visit our website for more information. Gingerbread Man Running. Catch us if you can.
The Co-op store has the largest selection of IUP gifts and apparel. The Co-op is always there with its convenient location and hours. The Co-op store has been serving IUP and the Indiana community since 1933, and all profits are returned to the students through campus programs and activities. The Co-op has all your campus needs from the dorm to the classroom. Visit us online at www.iupstore.com.
This is the voice of the IUP Crimson Hawks, Jack Benedict, inviting you to follow the Hawks home and away on U92.5 FM and at U92Radio.com. Start your Saturday game day with another Indiana County tradition, the Luther Ford High School Coaches Corner Show, every Saturday morning on WDAD AM 1450, 100.3 FM, and on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Since 1969, Luther Ford's High School Coaches Corner, every Saturday from
Everybody, it's Hawk Talk. Coach Paul Tortorella, thanks to Harry Woodbury. IUP quarterback, and we mentioned this team that we're going to introduce to you right here, the Homer City Bears, and they ended up with a 7-0 record. They scored 180 points. Wow. And, they played some pretty good teams. They won the Tri-County Championship over the weekend, beating Cambria Heights by a score of 38-22. Guys, come on up one at a time here. We want to introduce you. Come on up. Don't be afraid of nobody will turn you away. Number 5, who is this, please?
I'm Elliot Drew.
And what do you play?
Safety and swing back.
Safety and swing back. All right. Good job. Thank you. Good. Thanks for coming over, and congratulations. Next up, come on up to the mic. Number 2.
Carter Henry. I play for offense. I play tailback, and for defense, I play corner.
There you go.
There you go.
There we go. We've got a combination there. Number 13, lucky 13.
Jordan Arone, and I play outside linebacker and tight end.
All right, so thank you. Next up, number 45.
I'm CJ Fairbanks. I play right guard and right D tackle.
And I understand that Luke Sell is a relative of yours. He's running our show back at the Render Broadcasting, right? Okay, well, maybe someday you'll get into broadcasting. Take my place. Come on up here, number 41.
I'm Colin Dunn, and I play center and nose guard.
Center and nose guard.
Could have guessed those two guys were linemen.
Yeah. 22.
I'm Eli Turk, and I play tight end and middle linebacker.
Ooh. All right, Eli, thank you. Who else do we have here? Number 44.
I'm Gabe Kobar, and I play fullback and inside linebacker.
All right, Gabe, thank you.
They got every position covered here tonight.
And here is our coach, as Rich Turk is with us. Congratulations on what a season you guys had, huh?
Thank you, Jack. It was obviously we only have 7 of our players here, but we had 27 kids on our team. We could not bring them all up here, but the head coach, Matt Wilson, picked out the kids that would attend the show tonight for us.
Well, you played some pretty good teams too, Blairsville, Indiana, and on down the line. It's great, Coach, that they have this opportunity. You said, boy, they play a lot of games.
Yeah.
But, that's what you want them to do, to learn, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Yeah, so we, Homer City's a proud, traditional football town. And it's great that we have Matt Wilson, who coaches our junior high. We also have Tony Arone, who is the defensive coordinator for the varsity team. And we basically are running what our varsity program's running, but it's just simplified. So each year the kids learn more and more and understand it more.
Yep.
This group of 5th and 6th graders, they understand it. They work well. It's probably the best team I ever seen. If not much went wrong, but if something went wrong, there was no finger pointing. They just picked each other up and went. Our opening kickoff on Saturday, Elliot Drew downed it at the 2-yard line. We took 6.5 minutes and went 98 yards and scored. It happened. You're there.
Sure.
What's going to happen? As coaches, you're flipping out on the sidelines, but it all worked out in the end.
Mention your other coaches, would you please?
Head coach is Matt Wilson. Another assistant coach is Tony Arone. We have an assistant coach, Mike Shimko, and assistant coach, Nick Arone. Those are our coaches at the 5th and 6th grade level at Homer City.
Well, you got to have a banquet now,
Yeah, and, I don't want to jump ahead, but the last 2 teams that have went 7-0 at our 5th and 6th grade level have won the District 6 championship. So, and this group here is pretty special.
Yeah, the foundation is there. I do want to mention that Renda Media, along with IUP, are going to provide you guys with tickets to the California game with IUP here at Miller Stadium.
Yes.
Cold Bowl Day. That'll be great, huh?
Yeah, we appreciate that very much. We're going to get a head count to let you guys know of how many are planning to attend that game on the 23rd, correct?
23rd is correct.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we just need a head count on that.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations. I'm glad
Thank
you
you
could all
for-
be here today.
Thank you for having us, and good luck on the rest
Okay,
of your
appreciate it.
season,
Thank
Coach.
you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach Turk. Thank you very much. That's a pretty good group there, huh? I like the stat where they're building the program and keep it going because, the thing that we see toward in sports is not as many kids in all sports are participating as much as they have in the past. So it's good to see that, these youngsters are coming out. Well, you know what? We run out of time. We had a great time here tonight. Good luck Saturday against the Rock, and we'll have some fun watching a lot of great players in what should be a really good game. Yeah.
Appreciate it, Jack.
You bet. Coach Paul Tortorella, Harry Woodbury, thanks to him, and thanks to all these stars here, the Homer City Bears. For our whole crew, John Smiley, and all these people that have come by, we thank them very much. This is Jack Benedict. We'll see you next Monday at 6 o'clock.